Hi guys, welcome back to Waxing On. It's Friday and that means something completely different, but today it's going to be blues. And I just want to remind everyone, remember to hit the like button if you enjoy what we're doing, if you like the idea, the concept, or the bands. Consider sharing with your friends and consider subscribing. So today we're looking at an album label that began early 70s called Alligator Records. And their idea was to promote blues. Now, they had a very diverse cast of blues players that recorded with them. Just to give you an idea of some of the ones that were on their list, we've got Albert Collins, Lonnie Brooks, Professor Longhair, Buddy Guy, Clifton Chenier, who we talked about just last week on Alligator Stomp when we were looking at the Zydeco music. Sonny Terry, I think we featured him a while ago on another blues episode, Sonny Terry and Brownie McGee. Roy Buchanan, Clarence Gatemouth Brown, and Johnny Winter. And that's just a small sampling of the people that they had signed. Some of them only did an album or two. Some of them, did a couple of albums with them. And we're going to feature three different people that were some of my favorites out of the Alligator collection. Some of them you may not have heard of. Again, everybody is available online, so you can check them out. And I've checked the albums that I'm looking at today are online as well. So if you like what we have, feel free to do that. Some of them hard copies still available. Some of them available for digital download. And the first we're looking at today, Little Charlie and the Nightcats. Now I'm going to think this is probably not a band most people are familiar with. I don't imagine there was much airplay. They started out in Southern California. They're kind of a bar band. This album called Disturbing the Peace. We got Little Charlie Batty on guitar, Rick Estrin harmonica and vocals, Jay Peterson on bass, and Dobie Strange on drums. And they were considered an electric blues swing revival combo. So a lot of kind of swing tunes with a bluesy edge to it. It's very fun music. It's, the kind of get up and dance music. It's not quite like Big Bad Voodoo Daddy with that kind of swing revival, but it's not quite straight blues either. It's kind of a mix of the two, which is very appealing and very unique. So Little Charlie and the Nightcats, my version here, or my album here, Disturbing the Peace. Another player who again was a legend. I don't know if he had any real hits. Guitar players all know him. He is, again, a legend in the guitar community, Roy Buchanan. And this album is Dancing on the Edge. What's unique about this album is Roy brings with him another Alligator alumni, Delbert McClinton, who we talked about way back last summer. And we'll probably talk about again because being one of my favorites, got lots of Delbert McClinton to take a look at. So Roy was a guitar player. Sometimes he did some vocals. I remember watching on YouTube, there's an episode there where he does a little vocals, but he was mainly known as an instrumentalist. Another funny thing with Roy Buchanan, back early 60s, Roy showed up in Toronto and was playing with Ronnie Hawkins, who you may recognize that name from a few weeks ago. And at the time he was playing with him, he was also mentoring Hawkins' guitar player, Robbie Robertson. Yes, Ronnie Hawkins, Robbie Robertson. It was the episode on the band where they first developed, when the band was Ronnie Hawkins' backup group. So Roy got around. And again, there's a Toronto connection in there with him and Ronnie Hawkins. Beauty on this, we've got 3 or 4 tunes. I guess 3 tunes I'm looking at. One of the big hits, you can't judge a book by its cover, where they featured Delbert McClinton, vocals and harmonica. Now, Delbert's always one of my favorites, and it was a bonus getting him on the album along with Roy Buchanan. But if you're a guitar player, check it out. I mean, this guy was an amazing player. He was more of a side man. He did a few albums on his own, but he never got the recognition he should have received for the talent he had in the performances. And lastly, the other one I have on Alligator Records is, of course, Delbert McClinton, live in Austin. Now, this is one of only 2 live albums Delbert has put out over his whole career, and this one on Alligator Records. Now, instead of a small group, he's got himself backed up by horn section. We've got a couple of trumpets, tenor sax, baritone sax, trombone, as well as his usual band. A lot of McClinton hits here. Maybe Someday Baby, Standing on Shaky Ground, Give It Up for Your Love, Going Back to Louisiana, I Got My Dreams to Remember, Boxcar Blues. And again, I first heard that song by the Blues Brothers back in the early to mid 70s. So I guess it'd be mid 70s when they came out. And I was hearing that song on the Blues Brothers Briefcase Full of Blues album that got me interested in Delbert McClinton. And I'll tell you, I've been listening to him ever since. And this was a great album, recorded in 1989, it says, live in Austin, with a nice horn section backing him up. And I think this is the period where Delbert was at his peak. He was doing some great stuff in that era. So Alligator Records, there's all kinds of people that recorded for them. The three we featured today, Little Charlie and the Nightcats, a little bit of blues and bluesy swing music, Roy Buchanan, great guitar blues, and him featuring a couple of tunes by Delbert, and Delbert McClinton himself, live in Austin. Full set of his music, and again, only one of 2 live albums that he recorded over his career. I got a little backdrop here. My set decorators have got me ready going into Easter. Probably today is Good Friday for any of the ones that are celebrating Easter this weekend. If you are, have a happy Easter. We'll see you next week when we'll do it all again. Thanks for stopping by.